I saw a dive bomber coming from the Waikiki direction and drop a torpedo into Battleship Row. We were so close that I could see the torpedo being dropped. And as the plane turned around, instead of going up and get hit from anti-aircraft, he hugged the surface of the harbor, the water, and came directly at me. And he came over my head. It must have been about 20 yards over my head. It was that close. I could see the pilot looking down at me with his canvas type of helmet, great big goggles.
There was a lot of plane coming over. So I said, ooh. And then when my mother came out, I said, oh, looks like they're getting maneuver, because there's Japan, those planes get Japan flag around, Maru. So she said, maybe so, like that. Then we went home, then we heard that it was a war. I talked to my father, and my father said that, well, you are American citizens, so if they want you to join the army, it's your duty. So you want to go? And I said, well, we decide to go. He said, well, if you decide to go and then you think you can handle it, he said, go. So me and Masayamu Tamae volunteered.
Well, actually, when the war started, the military took over, and we had martial law, which we had total blackout. We had to be home by dark. We had rationing of a lot of things: beer, gasoline, alcohol. Everything was rationed. So, and life wasn't fun then. My thought was, well, I can get off this island and go to the mainland. And a lot of my friends, we all talked about it, and we all said, okay, let's go volunteer. And so we all did.
I remember my father telling me, go if you can handle it, but don't shame me. That's what he told me. Don't make me shame.
See, I only had grade school training until then. So I was thinking of looking for a wider place to live and see the world. And that's what prompted me to join the service.
March 8th, 1943. Dear folks, well, how's everyone? I'm okay, but have too much work to do. We have only the cadre here yet. I guess we'll have some more fellows here later. When are they going to draft the boys from camp? We are now training very intensely for the time that the fillers arrive. The morale here is high. Are you permitted to have cameras yet? I'll send you pictures very soon, just as soon as I get them back from the printers. Please send me photos of you people, if possible. I'm enclosing $20 for Mom. Please give it to her. Sincerely, Jack.
Of course, we spoke a little different language, but I got along. Never bothered me about being with a million guys, They were just like us, getting in the army. So I had no cause to worry about a million guys.
I got along well. They were really nice kids. Because I was a little older, and I had more experience. After all, I worked as a bartender, worked in a plantation, I worked as a carpenter.
Actually, it's only a couple of guys that didn't get along with Abe, We all got along with Abe. Most of us liked Abe. Like any group, you have troublemakers, eh? And we had a couple of guys that were kind of troublemakers. One guy was really a troublemaker for us. That's the reason why Abe got transferred.
March 24th, 1944. Dear Echo, have these filled out so that I can get Mom and Pop a Class F allotment. I believe that they are well qualified for it. I am also getting them a Class E allotment for $50. The Class F dependency should get them $47, making a total of $97. That should take care of them while I'm gone. Be sure that the American Red Cross at Manzanar helps fill out the enclosed affidavit. Tell them that I have been sending them money regularly. Sincerely, Jack. Enclosed is some money for Mom and Pop.
I happened to see the Germans scurrying around a farmhouse with a tank, a small tank, an SP gun on the side of the building, and I saw the Germans trying to get into the SP gun with the tank, and I thought that, wow, if they ever get into the tank and start firing at us, we're all going to be dead. And so happened that I had the motorcycle, so I told my assistant gunner, help me set up a gun. The range I had set up was for 350 yards, and the first shell landed right there, right next to the tank. The second shell landed on the roof of the house, and the third shell didn't burst. I thought was a dud, so I happened to ask my assistant gunner, "Hey, did you pull the safety pin?" Which my assistant gunner said, "Oh, I wonder if I did." But oh, never mind about that. Just fire the next one, and we fired the fourth round, and then I never saw where the fourth round landed because the Germans, at the same instant, shot back at us, and then we got, like I said, I got wounded. My assistant gunner got killed.
I seen the two guys come out, jump on a tank, and the muzzle move like this. So before I knew it, the bucket went fire one, boom, and then zoom, like that, and then bang in the back. So then I don't know who came up. He said, "Stan, somebody, I think he said kill got hit." So I went back, I looked at him, and he was kind of dead already. So that's when I went through a panic, like I kind of froze.
Top secret from Marshall to Devers for his personal attention. Operations reports show the 442nd Infantry and the 100th Battalion Japanese in action on the 5th Army front against heavy resistance. If military reasons do not preclude, it would be beneficial to give publicity to aggressive action of these Japanese troops. It has tremendous value, not only from the propaganda side, but helps materially in our handling of the American of Japanese descent problem in this country, particularly on the West Coast.
Dear Mom, well, I am both well and happy. We have been fighting for some time now. Wars are not what people think they are. It's rather an awful thing. I am happy that I am able to write you at this time. I can't fully describe a battle to you. You can take my word for it that it's very rough. I've had my share of close shaves. However, we are giving the Jerrys a bad time too. Our boys are doing a fine job. Everyone can be very proud of them all. I certainly am. It's a privilege to be able to be with them. They are all truly one grand bunch of men. Your son, Jack.
July 11th, 1944. Dear Mr. Fortis, I refer to your recent letter regarding publicity to be given to the 442nd Combat Team upon its arrival in a theater of operation. I have just been advised that action has been initiated in the theater to obtain full press, still, and newsreel coverage of both Japanese American units now overseas. Several top writers have been assigned to features and stories on these units, and in addition, the Army Pictorial Service now has crews at the front with these units. Films will be completed and shipped within the near future. The press release line on these units has been lifted so that the newspaper and radio coverage may be obtained of current operations. Sincerely, Harrison A. Gerhardt, Colonel, General Staff Corps, Executive to Assistant Secretary of War.
In Hawaii, this very old man, this couple sitting with such quiet dignity, this mother with her child, all are Americans of Japanese descent. So too is the rest of this audience, which here listens with solemn pride as the Army honors their sacred dead. Japanese American soldiers killed in action. Afterwards, a wife who has lost her husband is presented with the Silver Star. A father receives the Distinguished Service Cross. His son was killed in Italy, where he and thousands of other Japanese Americans, including the son of this woman, have produced one of the most remarkable combat records of the war.
I'm from Seattle. After war was declared, I was evacuated from the Pacific Coast. When the call came for volunteers for a combat team, I volunteered from a relocation center to show my loyalty and to prove that I had the right to live as a good American citizen.
That's pretty much the story of all these men. Born in Hawaii or on the Pacific Coast, they've grown up and gone to school in Honolulu, Pomona, Los Angeles, San Jose. They've played football, visited drive-ins, gone to the movies at night.
Friday, October 13th, 1944. Somewhere in France. Dear folks, well, I'm still healthy. It's very cold here. I'm shivering while writing this letter. The country here is beautiful. All the hills are covered with green trees and grass, with winter just around the corner. The question arises about the length of this European war. I think that the war will last until after next spring. Maybe the Russians will push during the winter months. Well, I expect to be over here for some time to come. It will last longer than most people at home wishfully expect. We who are fighting this war on the front lines think differently. You just have to see and be accustomed to the sight of death to fully appreciate what the boys are doing on the front. There must be at least 30 or 40 more behind the lines and in the States to every frontline soldier. I mean real frontline fighting men. Maybe more. I'll bet folks back home never thought of that fact. What I'm trying to get at is that the actual battle is carried in the hands of so few men. It's really annoying to see how few really see the enemy and fight him within sight distances. Well, folks, I hope you all have a very nice Christmas and New Year's. I would give anything to be back with you folks during the holiday seasons. At least I'll be there with you in spirit. So please have a toast for me. I'll be thinking of you all, with all my affections and love, to Mom and Pop, and you kids. I remain, Jack.
That was a terrible place in the forest. It was dark at night, kind of see everything. It was cold, drizzling, rainy. Boy, we really suffered that time because we come from Hawaii and we don't like the cold weather, but boy, the forest was really terrible with all the tree bursts and everything.
In a breeze, the hill, it was raining, cold. That's when I think a lot of them, if they get trench foot, would get trench foot then because it was all wet and cold. So, you cannot take off shoes. We changed socks, but, it got wet right away.
All of a sudden, this one German soldier comes popping out. 4 people got up and they shot at this fellow. Well, they first told him to come our way. They said, come on, here, come on, here. But evidently, I don't know whether he understood or not, but the German soldier, he pointed backwards toward, he said, comrade, comrade. So he was talking about his buddies back there. But so instead of coming our way, he started to go back in the bushes. And so 4 people opened fire on him, and he didn't drop right there. So the officer really got mad. He said, you guys missed him or didn't get him? But I understand later that when we started to push off, why he was found dead in the bushes.
See, the night before, we could hear them. They didn't know that we were there, so we could hear them setting up the machine gun. And Sergeant Ohama sent a scout out first. The scout got hit. So Sergeant Ohama went to help, and he got hit too. But Sergeant Ohama was hurt pretty badly. So I got a shelter half and put it under his body so we could carry him out. And we were ready to carry him out because they put a white flag out and
I know that we all got out our foxholes and formed a line there. Being a hill, I guess we would be kind of semicircle, and then somebody said start firing, so and then we're gonna charge, and that's what we did. And after I got my gun, I got that gun, then I followed my BAR man up, and by that time all the firing was over, and all there was a bunch of dead Germans up at the top of the hill, and I was kind of the last ones to go, so I was looking around making sure that everybody was dead, and if I saw a fella just move a little bit, why I tell him to get up, and I picked up 3 persons as prisoners because they were moving, and I wanted to make sure that they wouldn't shoot us. So I took those 3 prisoners back. I started to take them back, and then the company commander, he came up, so I passed them on to him, and he got mad at one of them. One of them had his one arm slit from elbow to his wrist, evidently by a bullet, and he was really hollering away. He wanted to get it taken care of, but our company commander told him to shut up because he said, I got better men dead here because of you people. And I thought we always call it Bonsai Hill because we killed so many Germans there, but
my upper arm was broken. They shot my bone. Sergeant Hank Rosado had a morphine shot, and he gave me a shot. And I have to run about 35 yards in the clear. Then I would have been saved. So I run as fast as I can with holding my left arm, and I made it. And as I went, I saw Sergeant Wakamatsu. That's when he asked me how things was. And I told him his best pal I think he's dead. Well, I don't think he was too surprised. But I could see that he was really dejected. Because he was his best friend.
Award, posthumous, of the Silver Star, Abraham G. Ohama, Technical Sergeant, Infantry, Company F, 442nd Regimental Combat Team, for gallantry in action on 20 October 1944 in the vicinity of Bruyères, France. While making a forward reconnaissance to determine the enemy's disposition, Sergeant Ohama and his men encountered machine gun fire. Placing his men under cover, he crawled to within 20 yards from the enemy and threw 2 hand grenades, which neutralized the machine gun nest. When another machine gun opened fire upon him, he momentarily silenced it with his submachine gun and then completely put it out of action with hand grenades. Subsequently, when a comrade was wounded and left exposed to further injury, he disregarded enemy sniper fire to go to his aid, and as he reached the fallen man's side was mortally wounded. Next of kin, Mrs. Hana Ohama, mother, 222-9-G, Poston, Arizona.
Even like today, I still dream about the war. And after 60 some more years, I still dreaming. I said, that thing must be really embedded into my brain, certain incident. And the thing that I remember a couple of times, when I seen Kyo's face, I got up and I couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. And that was about 1 o'clock in the night. And then I couldn't sleep all night because I try to brush away the thought, the incident where I seen Kyo's face. And gee. But gee, after 60 some odd years, and I still think about those things. So it really must embedded in your brain, yeah? Those incidents must be really... Yeah.